Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick, and we are going to do a mock draft tonight, and we're going to try a strategy about does it make sense to wait until late in the draft to take your QB1. All right, we're going to see what kind of team we can build if we say that we are not going to draft a quarterback in the first 10 rounds, and we'll see what kind of quarterback we can get after that point. Now, I have to tell you that the quarterback position is exceedingly deep, and there are lots of fantastic options available after pick 100. So we're going to see what happens here. We're going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to help us out with this draft today. And I invite you to go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. Let's please check out the app, try it out in a mock draft, see if you like it. If you do, you can subscribe, unlock all the features, and use it for all of your drafts this season. So we are in Yahoo. We're in a 12-team league. We're going to be picking 7th. And there I am right there. You can see the draft is going to start in about a minute. So when you use the app, when you log in, it's going to take you to this page. It's going to ask you 3 questions, right? So how does your league score points? Well, Yahoo, we're going to say it's half-point PPR, okay? Question 2, do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? Normally I say yes, but I'm going to say no because I want you to see all the players and see how this app kind of separates the quality players from the risky, unreliable, inconsistent players that you want to stay away from, right? Okay, so we'll just say no to that. Then do you want to enter draft mode? And what this does is this is going to break down the draft based on the size of your league and your draft position. So you can choose anywhere from 8-team leagues to 16-team leagues, okay? But this is a 12, so we'll just choose the middle one there. Our draft position is position 7. So we'll go ahead and we'll enter draft mode. So you can see the draft list right here. There's all the players. Up here on top, these are position filters. So if you want to look at just quarterbacks or just running backs or just wide receivers, you can use those. Down below it, these are the draft mode filters. So this represents each round of your draft. And if we go to the first round, obviously we're at pick number 7. And this is some recommended players. I'm just going to minimize that so we just see the names. But then below that, you see these are all the players. And what this represents is these are all the players between your first pick and your second pick. So if we sort this thing by draft position, you can see we're looking at all the players from pick number 3 to pick number 19. Okay? Because our next pick is pick number 18, right? So there's a little bit of overlap on each round. But instead of being sorted by their draft position, it's sorted by what we call the VORC score, which stands for value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. It's basically these 4 columns over here. And based on how the player scores on each of these categories, they get points. Then those points are added up, and that gives you the VORC score, and then it's sorted by that score. So at the top of the list, you've got players that very much you want to focus on. These are high reliability, high consistency, great outlook, good value. You know, these are the kind of things you want in a player. At the bottom of the list, what you got? You have injured players, you have low reliability players, you have low consistency players, poor outlook players. So they have things on their score which is dragging them down the list. And basically what I say is just stick to the top half of the list. That's where you want to pick players from. So you can see that the draft's going to start in like 45 seconds. So if we look at what is it recommending for the first round of the draft, we have Devontae Adams, the wide receiver, Travis Kelce, tight end, Juju Smith-Schuster, wide receiver. Those are all excellent choices. Certainly Devontae Adams would be the top choice here. But what I like to do is I always like to go with a running back first. And so if you use the running back filter, you'll then see just the running backs down here. Again, still sorted by their VORC score. And you can see there's Kamara and Christian McCaffrey, but there's these little guns next to their name. And what that means is they are long shots. A long shot is someone who has less than a 50-50 shot of making it to your pick. Likewise, David Johnson is a long shot as well. But Melvin Gordon is right here. And he provides, a good outlook, good reliability, very good consistency, great value. And I know a lot of people are really nervous about the Melvin Gordon holdout, but let me just say this. There's a big difference between what Melvin Gordon's doing and what Le'Veon Bell did last year. And Le'Veon Bell was not under contract. He was not being fined $40,000 a day for every day that he holds out. Okay, so this is costing Melvin Gordon money to be holding out right now every single day. Over $250,000 a week is what it's costing him. So I anticipate this will be resolved in short order, certainly by the time the season starts. If you're not willing to take the risk on Melvin Gordon, we could drop below and we can go to maybe Mixon or Connor, which I think are both good choices, but certainly don't offer the value. I mean, look at this is the value column, and this is their value rank. Melvin Gordon is the 5th most valuable player in the top 250 list, right? Joe Mixon is the 13th. James Conner is the 20th. So they're not nearly as good. They're still good, but when we're talking an elite level player that you need that's going to give you an edge on a week-to-week basis, Melvin Gordon's going to provide that. Mixon and James Conner, not as much. Oh, it's our pick. All right, so there's Melvin Gordon. Let's go ahead and take him. We'll take him with our first pick, and so I'm perfectly comfortable with that. Now, of course, if we get to late August and there's still no contract, I'm not going to be nearly as optimistic about Melvin Gordon. But for right now, I think he's a good choice. So now we go to the second round. So let's see, what is it recommending for the second round? Well, we got Tyreek Hill, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mike Evans, all fantastic wide receivers. And I absolutely want to get myself an elite wide receiver. And the reason is because the first round is going to have 8 or 9 running backs taken, but only 3 or 4 wide receivers, right? So in the second round, there's still high-end elite wide receivers available. Tyreek Hill, his value rank is 11th, all right? To get him as pick number 18 is amazing. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's Dalvin Cook. Excuse me. I'm still looking at running backs. Let's look at just the wide receivers. So Tyreek Hill, value rank 9th, okay? That's fantastic. Juju Smith-Schuster, value rank 10. Mike Evans, value rank 17. All these guys are undervalued relative to the draft position, and that means they're the kind of guys you want. I totally like the idea of going Tyreek Hill. So let's go ahead and we will get him queued up. We'll get Juju Smith-Schuster queued up, and we'll get Mike Evans queued up as well. But all 3 of those guys I love as second-round wide receivers. They all are fantastic. And you can see here there's really not any better options for wide receivers because all the other ones have been gone. But look, there's still a bunch of running backs here. Look, James Conner's still on the board, Joe Mixon. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to pause till we're within 3 of our next pick, and we'll see who we end up with. All right, and we're back, and so it's almost back to us. All 3 of these guys are still on the board. I got to say, if James Conner somehow made it to us, I would totally take him at pick number 18. That would be a pretty nice deal. Look, Joe Mixon's still on the board as well. Oh, well, Connor's gone. That's not surprising. Kelsey, still on the board too. That is much later than usual. Not sure I can spend a second-round pick on a tight end, but certainly a third-round pick, I'd take a tight end. But look, all 3 guys are on the board. Hill offers the best value. I love that offense. Let's go ahead and take Tyreek Hill. So we got Gordon and Hill as our players. So that's a good start, a good beginning to this draft. So let's go to the third round here. And so you can see it's recommending wide receivers again. Adam Thielen, Robert Woods, Stephon Diggs, all these guys are quality players, right? All offer really good value, relative to the draft position. But we need to focus on running backs. And what I've been recommending this year is 4 of your top 5 picks should be running backs. And the reason is because once you get past pick 60, the field just thins out like you would not believe. And there's basically no startable running backs available after pick 60. There's like maybe 2 or 3 that have even just a little bit of flex value. But so you really need to get the depth and you need to invest in that. And then what you're going to find is there are still fantastic options at wide receiver for picks 6 through 9, for round 6 through 9, right? So, again, we're going to look at the running back. So you can see Derrick Henry is a long shot, but he offers great value at this point. You also have Kerryon Johnson here. You've got Aaron Jones, down a little bit lower, Mark Ingram, Leonard Fournette, Devonta Freeman. These are guys that I don't like. They don't have great outlooks, but I got to say Henry, Johnson, or Jones, all of them would be great at this point. They all offer really nice value for pick number 31. Like Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones are actually a little bit undervalued. Kerryon Johnson, just a tiny bit overvalued, but I really consider that pretty much fair value. So let's get these guys queued up. Henry, Johnson, and Jones. And all right, so Henry, Johnson, and Jones. And I'm also going to get these wide receivers queued up because it's always good to see where those guys are going. Thielen, Woods, and Diggs. Okay, so Thielen's gone. Woods, there he is. Diggs is right there. Okay. And I like to use the queue. And the reason is because if one of the recommended players falls to the next round, I typically recommend grabbing that player because to have a third round player fall to the fourth round, he's that much more valuable to your team. You know, he may have been fair value in the third round, but at the fourth round, he is undervalued. So, you know, you can definitely get some value by taking him later. Look, Mike Evans is still on the board. Of course, it's still a ways coming back to us, but even Mike Evans could fall to us. That would be amazing too. I would have to really seriously debate taking Mike Evans at pick number 31 if he somehow made it to us. I hardly ever see that though. You can see Damian Williams still on the board here. Marlon Mack still on the board. There's some good options here. But I kind of like the idea. Kerryon Johnson certainly offered nice value at this point. If we look at the running backs from the prior round, Marlon Mack, actually a little bit better value for Marlon Mack. Damian Williams, about the same. Let's, did Marlon Mack make it to us? He sure did. Man, these crazy drafts right now. Look, Mike Evans is still on the board. Mike Evans, top 18 value. Oh boy, this is really rough. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna take Marlon Mack because he offers the best value, and we'll see if any of these guys make it back to us on the next round. So let's go to the fourth round, okay? And you can see it's recommending Brandon Cooks. There's Philip Lindsay, another running back. Baker Mayfield, quarterback. So Philip Lindsay, again, one of my favorite options at this point. You can also see other running backs available. Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, all these guys I like a lot. Josh Jacobs is actually very close to being a full 3-down workhorse in his role in Oakland, and I like the idea of getting someone like him in the fourth round. That is a fantastic deal. Let's queue up all these guys, Lindsay, Jacobs, and Montgomery. And Lindsay and Jacobs and Montgomery. All right, so we got a ton of people on the queue. We got a ways to go for our next pick. So let me go ahead and pause it, and then we'll come back and we'll see who we want to end up with. All right, it's coming back to us, and Josh Jacobs did get taken a little bit early, which does happen in these things, but you can see Philip Lindsay, David Montgomery still available. Lindsay definitely offers the better value as compared to Montgomery. So let's go ahead and we'll take Lindsay with our third running back. So we got Gordon, Mack, and Lindsay right now, plus Tyreek Hill as our wide receiver. And now we're going to go to the fifth round. We're going to get ourselves one more running back. And hopefully, knock on wood, David Montgomery makes it back to us. But he's kind of a long shot at this point. But we could get Kenyon Drake. We could get Chris Carson. Both those guys are amazing options at this point in the draft. So let's just cue him up. Kenyon Drake and Chris Carson. There he is. And so great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause till we're within 3, and we'll see who we actually end up with. All right, and we're back, and you can see Montgomery, Drake, and Carson are still on the board. I also queued up Boyd and Jeffrey, who are recommended wide receivers from this round, because if they make it to the next round, holy cow, man, to get Tyler Boyd as our wide receiver 2 in the 6th round would be amazing. He is moving up the draft board right now. He probably will be gone by the next round, but you never know, right? That's why I always use the queue. So Montgomery, again, long shot that he would make it to us, 50-50 shot. It looks like he will maybe, and if he doesn't, you know, Drake is good, Carson is good. They're both suitable. Obviously not as valuable, but they're still good as our 4th running back. That's what we have. We have depth at running back now because we went 4 of our first 5 picks for running backs. So, and look at that. He did make it back to us. So fantastic. David Montgomery, welcome to the team. And we'll go on to the 6th round. Now, we obviously need to get ourselves some wide receivers, right? We only have Hill. So next round here, look, we got Robbie Anderson recommended as a wide receiver. Tyler Boyd is a long shot. Jarvis Landry was actually taken early. He's already gone. So let's queue up Robbie Anderson as well with the rest of this group. And what we will do is just pause till we're within 3, and then we'll see where we're at, and we'll see who we want to take. All right, so we are getting close to our next pick. You can see Carson, Boyd, and Anderson are still on the board, but they are the next 3 picks on the board. I'm guessing one of them will make it to me. We'll see. But obviously, if that doesn't happen, that kind of depletes all the recommended. I mean, we could, Tevin Coleman, I'm really not interested in. So we can always jump to the next round and look at like the wide receivers for that round. D.D. Westbrook, Christian Kirk, those are both great choices that I like. So let's go and get them queued up. So Christian Kirk and D.D. Westbrook. But again, see, look, they're already falling into place here. So certainly Tyler Boyd has got to be my first choice right now because of the injury to AJ Green. And look at that, he made it to us. That's awesome. So Robbie Anderson just got taken right before us, but Tyler Boyd is even a better option. Remember, he was a long shot for this round. So awesome, that's great. So let's move on to the 7th round. And so we already put in D.D. Westbrook and Christian Kirk. Let's look at the running backs and see if there's anyone. Now, Jordan Howard, Darius Geis. Now, look at that. Now, that would be a very interesting choice to take here. I'm not quite recommending him yet, but he was just cleared medically and certainly offers fantastic value. We're at pick 79. His value rank is 47. That is something that I cannot pass up, that to get a top 50 value player this late in the draft is a steal, right? So let's get Darius queued up and Jordan Howard. I'll get them both queued up, even though I'm not real big on Jordan. But Darius and Jordan, right? And we also need to look at tight ends at this point. So you got Austin Hooper. Who else is going at this round? David Njoku. Neither one of them are particularly good for value. Look, their value rank is over 100. I think they're both tight end ones, but they're just low value tight end ones. The tight end position is notoriously overvalued in the draft, and you've got to take him much earlier than you normally would take a player with that level of value, just because of the position scarcity. So I think we'll wait, because in the 8th round, look, we can get Vance McDonald, so I think we'll go with that. And then as far as wide receivers, we already got everybody queued up. So I think we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and we'll pause the video until we're within 3. We'll see where we're at. We'll see who makes it back to us. All right, so it's coming back to us now. Darius Geis still on the board. Christian Kirk, D.D. Westbrook. I like all these guys, but of course the best value player is Geis. So I think we got to take advantage of that. And should he be taken, I'll probably grab Westbrook, because Westbrook's value is significantly better than Kirk's. See, Westbrook's value is 68th. That means he's a low-end wide receiver 2 at that point. Christian Kirk's value is 90th, which is more like a flex. That's like a probably mid to low-range flex. Look, Geis did make it to us. So we're going to grab our 5th running back, Darius Geis. That's a great depth play. We'll see if he is fully back from his injury. So let's go on to the 8th round. We talked about needing to get a tight end, right? So let's target Vance McDonald. He's kind of like the only game in town. Let's see who else is on the board for tight ends. So you got, look, David Njoku and Austin Hooper are still on the board. They will probably be gone by my next pick, though. So I will queue them up as fallback points, but we should be able to get Vance McDonald, no problem. So what I'll do is I will pause till we're within 3 of our next pick, and we'll see who we end up with. All right, we're back. And so Vance McDonald still on the board, still my number 1 pick. Look, Kirk and Westbrook still on the board. Austin Hooper still on the board. So things are progressing very nicely. We will definitely get our tight end here. It's looking very good that he will not be taken. He was not taken, so we'll draft him. Now we're going into the 9th round, and so we're going to do 2 more rounds. Then we're going to get our quarterback, all right? So 9th round, top pick, Darrell Henderson, another running back. Jared Goff, quarterback. We wanted to go quarterback, which we don't. We're going to wait. Dante Pettis, another wide receiver. We could certainly use some more depth at wide receiver. And so Pettis is a great option. There's also Curtis Samuel here, who I very much like. They both offer top 100 value. So those are good. These are good flex options, and Darrell Henderson would be a steal as our 6th running back. That would be an amazing core of running backs if we can get Henderson. So let's queue those guys up, and we'll see what happens. So I'll be right back. All right, so it's back to us. So Pettis was already taken. He was taken early, but Westbrook still on the board. Henderson still on the board. Curtis Samuel, Austin Hooper. I'm going to take my 6th running back. Darrell Henderson, back up to Todd Gurley. Amazing to get him here in this late. And so we'll go ahead and we're going to take him. That is an amazing running back core that we have. So in the 10th round, let's look at wide receivers. Larry Fitzgerald, that's a great option. Anthony Miller, he's injured. I'm not really interested in that. John Brown, not great value. Michael Gallup. Again, not the best options, but I do like Fitz. So let's go ahead and we'll get him queued up. And we still have some other wide receivers on the board right here. So I'm just going to pause till we're within 3 and we'll see who we end up with here. It's almost back to us. Dede Westbrook still on the board. It's like it was meant to be on our team. He was supposed to go 2 rounds ago, and he was a great value then. We are at pick number 114. His value rank, I looked it up. I went back to it, and it's like 68. His value rank is 68th, and we're getting him at pick 114. That is amazing value. That is wide receiver 2 value, and I'm taking it. A low-end wide receiver 2, high-end flex, okay? This team is looking great. Now let's go and look at the quarterbacks. What quarterbacks are still on the board here in the 10th round, heading into the 11th round? Jared Goff, Jameis Winston, Dak Prescott, Phillip Rivers, Jimmy Garoppolo, Lamar Jackson. Look at these guys. These are all ones. I mean, Winston probably not. Goff, absolutely. Look at the offense that he's on. Dak Prescott, great. I think he's a great value this year. Phillip Rivers, he's on one of the best offenses in the NFL. And then Lamar Jackson, who's one of my personal favorites to take late, just because he is, I think that team has some exciting upside, and he's going to be the top rushing quarterback this year in the NFL. And rushing yards are very valuable in the quarterback position. So if I had to rank, I'd probably take Lamar Jackson first, Phil Rivers second. Well, no, I'm sorry. I would probably take Jared Goff first. Then I take Lamar Jackson. Then I take Phillip Rivers, because Jared Goff, he's like a top 7, top 8 quarterback. All right. So, absolutely an astoundingly strong choice this late in the draft. Now we'll see if he makes it to us, because he probably won't. But if he doesn't make it, Lamar Jackson's my choice all the way. But the whole idea of waiting to take a quarterback means you can really beef up and get amazing depth at your other positions, most importantly, the running backs and the wide receivers. And when you look at what we did with our first 10 picks, going 6 running backs and 6 quality running backs that are, each one has really specific advantages to this season that are going to be strong. We only need to start 3 each week. That gives us an amazing piece of depth that no other team in the league is going to have. Also, if more than one of these guys, if more than one of these guys breaks out on the low end, right? Like Geis breaks out or Henderson breaks out, that's awesome trade bait to improve your team, right? So look at this. It's about to come back to us. Oh, look at that. Jared Goff just went off the board. So we will target Lamar Jackson, and I'm super happy with this team. So our wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, Tyler Boyd, and then we took Dede Westbrook late. I can't believe we got him that late. Then for our running backs, Melvin Gordon, Marlon Mack, Phillip Lindsay, David Montgomery, Darius Geis, Darrell Henderson. That is astoundingly good. Vance McDonald is our tight end. Lamar Jackson is our quarterback. This is a quality team. This is a team that's going to compete. This is a team that's going to be tough to beat on a week-to-week basis. So I'm very happy with how this went. We still have a few more rounds. We've got, 3 more bench slots? 2 more bench slots. Going to take a couple of flyers, probably 1 more flyer wide receiver. Actually, I'm sorry. In Yahoo, you can only take 6 running backs. So I'm going to take 2 more wide receivers, probably grab someone like Paris Campbell, or Tyreek Hill, Tyrell Williams. Those are guys that are always available late in the drafts. They're great options this year. So this is a great team. I'm really happy with how this turned out. And I highly recommend waiting as long as you possibly can to take a quarterback, because you will just be astounded at how many good ones are still on the board that late in the draft. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe and leave a comment if you have any questions or comments or anything. And anyway, it's been great drafting with you tonight. I'll talk to you soon.